It was a day of spring, and everybody on the streets moved, admiring the flowers in a good mood. But that did not rub off on Seema, who was walking with anxiety towards the hospital. Seema was 26, tall, and prone to be flustered with technology. Seema walked because her fiancé Vijay was lying on one of the beds. She was informed about Vijay's accident and she had rushed. She ran up the stairs and saw Vijay sleeping on the bed with a bandage around his head. Vijay was a young man of 29 and was an interior designer. Seema, being a geography expert, had met Vijay about a year ago when he had shown up at the consultancy office she ran to design it. They had the same taste and things had taken a turn for the good until this incident. Seema looked at Vijay and wished she could help him in some way. Then she went to see the doctor. The doctor was a gregarious man in his 40s and was particular about making his patients and their families at ease. He had a mild concussion. A laptop fell on his head while he was traveling in the train. The software installed in the laptop cushioned the fall. He started to laugh at his joke. But I saw him sleeping and did not react to my presence, inquired Seema. That's not entirely out of the ordinary, said the doctor. It was then that Vijay walked in with a keyboard in his hand. Both Seema and the doctor were taken aback. But the doctor, hospitable as ever, asked, Would you like some coffee, Vijay? I don't drink coffee. It might damage my central processing unit made of silicon, said Vijay. Seema and the doctor were taken aback again. Vijay, are you all right? She asked with some concern. As all right as a write command writing a byte. Let's go, Seema said. If you have a command, please type it into this keyboard, said Vijay. Then Vijay handed over the keyboard. It's connected to me via a network, he said. Seema was beginning to get alarmed. With shaky hands, she took the keyboard and typed, Let's go. I don't understand that command, announced Vijay. Seema then turned to the doctor. What's happening, doctor? She asked him. I think he's imbibed machine consciousness. Maybe a suppressed desire from his childhood to be a robot, what with all the films glorifying it. Vijay, you will be all right, she said, trying to sound convincing. Do you know a cure for it? She asked the doctor. There is this community near the Dandeli forest. There is a doctor. Seema waited. A doctor in biotechnology, said the doctor. Seema was puzzled. His son is a Linux programming expert. Maybe he will teach you to communicate with Vijay as a computer and get him to revert to humanity, continued the doctor. His name, doctor? His name is Lingaraj, said the doctor. Seema booked a cab in 20 seconds and was on her way to Dandeli. As she started her journey from Bangalore, she was quite tense. The driver tried to make small talk, but she was too anxious. After the car had gone past Tumkur, there were agricultural fields on either side of the road. The driver switched on some sad songs about love sensing the mood. The driver was sensitive to his passengers' moods and feelings and had quite a good collection of music. As they neared Dandeli, Seema could discern the change in climate and the sparsity of the population gave her a sense of calm. Lingaraj's community were a group of people who had taken lands near the forest and had maintained themselves sustainably. The community of around 2000, which had lived there for generations, had access to technology, and there were a lot of academics in there. Seema's car reached the location which Lingaraju had sent. It had to be accessed via the mud road, passing over old bridges. They had passed small waterfalls and climbed up and down mountains. The cab driver had switched off his music system, allowing Seema to listen to the sounds of unexploited nature. They reached the place. Seema was relieved to see him because it was getting dark. You are Lingaraj? I presume I am Seema. Seema introduced herself. My fiancé Vijay has imbibed machine consciousness. I came to you for help, said Seema. Yes, the doctor told me. And we thought the problem one day would be machines imbibing human consciousness. So when do we start? Well, you both have had a tough journey. Rest, and we shall start tomorrow. I will go back to Bengaluru, sir, said the driver. Nobody is going to know where you will go if you leave from here least of all yourself. Do as I say. Have a nice dinner here and go back tomorrow. The cab driver agreed. Lingaraj asked them to park the car and they walked hurriedly towards their camp. Their camp was set in a large clearing and they had built eco-friendly houses for themselves. Some houses were in groups and some were set apart from the rest. Seema was shown into her private house and the driver was shown Lingaraj's house. Seema freshened up and sat on the porch outside. The atmosphere was very serene and crickets buzzed. There were a lot of birds chirping and she was lost in it for a while. Then Lingaraj called out to her from his house, which was about 50 feet away from the guest house. Lingaraj offered her dinner made of sprouts and some healthy sandwiches. Seema tried to bring up the issue of Vijay. But Lingaraj was busy telling jokes to the cab driver Manjunath. After she had finished, Lingaraj told her classes would start the next day at 9. Seema went to her home and slept immediately. She dreamt of Vijay and she taking a walk in the forests. The next day, Seema woke up and went to Lingaraj's house. The driver had already left by then. Lingaraj then showed her a box full of supplies for food and asked Seema to take them to her house in the evening after the class. Then Lingaraj led her to the computer in his hall. Seema had not met anyone apart from Lingaraj during the whole time and asked him about it. Lingaraj said most of the people had gone on the trek. Let's begin, said Lingaraj. You need to be able to talk to the machine. Now, talk to this machine, said Lingaraj, showing his laptop which was being charged. It had many cables sticking out of it. Hi, computer. Will you be friends with me? Said Seema. That won't work. Seema thought a lot. Then she took out her hairband, loosened her hair, and promptly proceeded to join her hair with the computer wires. That won't work. If it worked, people would queue up outside ATMs and plead with the ATM to understand their plight and give them money, said Lingaraj. Then what do I do? You need to understand the system first. Then write programs to change the system or utilize it. There are primarily two ways to interact with this system, which is a Linux system: shell programming and using a programming language. To make a program, you need proficiency in a programming language like C. And to get the program to make sense to the system, you need a compiler. About C, you will learn parallelly on your own. But before that, we need to see what the system can offer. This system is a Linux system. A man called Linus Torvalds took the initiative to make software embody free-spiritedness. He wrote the core of the operating system. And Linux, with contributions from all over the world, is growing, continued Lingaraj. To work with the system, you need to log in, for which you need access, he said further. Vijay recognizes me, so I have access, said Seema. Yes, he has imbibed machine consciousness. You sure you want to change him back? He was so perfect. He used to satisfy my every whim, got me flowers every day, used to sing for me. He always took my side in arguments, said Seema. Are you sure he's not acting like a machine now? What? Nothing. None of my business. Anyway, once you get into the system, you can use it. You can make it do tasks, execute your commands. So, whether he reverts or not, it's a win-win situation for you. Please stick to teaching me, said Seema. Just kidding. There are many distributions of Linux available called flavors. To use the system, you need to program it as well. You can use C, C++, Java, Python, etc. to program. What language did you use to talk in with Vijay? Seema said, English, Hindi, Kannada and Tamil. But you can learn C. Goes with my name, Seema. If only it was so easy. Seema was at a loss about what to make of this person. She was alone near a jungle with this guy and she wondered whether he was trying to deliberately insult her or he was built like that. The kernel is the thing that does everything. The outer interface is called the shell. The shell is how you talk to the kernel. Then Lingaraju looked away. I will tell you a story. My story. I have lived both in the city as well as here. I will tell you a few anecdotes of mine. I worked as a chef in a hotel once near Banashankari in Bangalore. I used to cook well, but the owner sitting in the cash counter got all the credit. Nobody came to see me at the back where I was working. I had become a bit of a loner. I had decided to quit. And that very evening, this guy wearing formal clothes came running into the kitchen. I was so happy. I thought he had come to see me and tell me how great the food was. I asked him, Are you here to congratulate me? No, somebody is chasing me. I came to escape through the kitchen like they do in movies. He said Lingaraju. Poor Colonel, said Seema. Anyway, this shell is called Bash. This shell was written in C. The makers thought of all the various utilities you might generally need and bundled them up in the shell. I'll give you the hotel example. A hotel has many ready-made dishes and you can order anything. For example, a chocolate shake. This is like the programs already installed. But if you want a special something like spicy noodles with sweet dates chutney, you need to tell the cooking team how it's made. So, what's already available in the system like a chocolate shake is akin to the programs already installed like the cat command, etc. Noodles with sweet dates chutney, you have to use C and program yourself. So, inbuilt programs are what is on the menu. Programming yourself is what isn't already on the menu. We use the bourne again shell, also called Bash. Let me log in with my credentials. On the computer screen, Lingaraj typed R-O-O-T, root. What's root? Which plant root are you talking about? Asked Seema. Root is a super user. He has complete access to the system. He can do anything to the system which others can't, except probably breaking the computer in frustration. Seema suddenly became wary. Have you broken a computer in frustration? Yes. Seema was now worried. But it was for a film shoot. Now we are at the command prompt. I will type LS. What do you think the system will do? Is it Lingaraj Seema? Yes, and it will take our picture together. Wrong. ls is a command that tells the system to list all the files in the directory. The -al is passing options to the command. -al stands for all files and L tells it to show detailed information. Lingaraj then pressed enter. A list of files came up saying, what is this letter R? Rejection? And a letter X here? X love affair? Asked Seema. Maybe I have to change the directory. Which directory am I in now? Lingaraj asked mostly to himself. Lingaraj then typed PWD. Love, life, progress. About R and X, I will tell you when we get to file permissions. Enough for this session. Let's meet after an hour. I'm not in a good mood now, said Lingaraj. I can understand, said Seema. Seema thought of taking a walk and stepped onto the path. She saw many cyclists approach in a group. There were youngsters and old people as well, those who kept themselves fit. They all looked at Seema and some of them smiled and waved at her. They all parked their cycles and went on to their respective homes. Seema continued with her walk and found a small stream nearby. She sat there on the rocks for a while and decided that she would include this in her everyday routine. So, do you want to start with chocolate milkshake or noodles with sweet chutney? Asked Lingaraj when they resumed in his house. A chocolate milkshake, said Seema. So, the shell. Notice it's shake and shell. That will help you remember. There are many ways to the kernel. This shell is one of them. There are many shell commands which you will find. There are many kinds of shells as well, like corn shell, sea shell, etc. But we use bash. Type. It will give you the version of the shell, said Lingaraj. Then a parrot came and perched on the window rail. This is Parish's parrot. Say hi. Hi, said Seema to the parrot, and the parrot responded in like making Seema happy. You can redirect the output to a file. In our community, if somebody is talking and others are busy, we ask them to talk to a parrot's ear. The parrot then repeats it to whoever is interested. So, here, ls-al is the command that lists all the files. The output can be sent to lsoutput.txt for future use. Of course, there are cases when a person talks nonsense. We ask them to speak into a tree's hollow. It's gone forever. In Linux, we have once you send it there, there's no return. Lingaraj continued. So, gives nothing. If the file called lsoutput.txt exists, it will be overwritten. To append to the file, that is to make the parrot retain what was said yesterday, use the. Notice there is a double greater than symbol. Sometimes you would want to know what is going on in somebody's mind. You can see the list of processes that are happening in the system. Use the ps command. That would be very helpful. I can see what's happening in Vijay's mind. Yes, if he is thinking of a particular car. Especially if he is thinking of me. I would bet on cars. I will tell you something that can help. You can even kill a process using the kill command. Let's finish all these things quickly. I have many processes to kill. Can I add a process to his mind, like think about my birthday gift, for example? That would take many birthdays to learn. Lingaraj paused. Seema thought he would ask her when her birthday was. You can listen to the parrot. In Linux, you can read the contents of a file in degrees by using the The WC function tells you the word count. An option is which tells you the number of characters. The man command helps us understand men? Seema interjected. No, helps us understand the Linux system. Man is short for manual. If you need help, type help. Say ls help. Now, Seema, let's take a walk. Seema and Lingaraj packed some food and went near the mountains. There was a small mountain which they agreed would be nice to climb. Lingaraj had brought his laptop. As they climbed, Seema felt she could do so comfortably without panting or being out of breath. The air was not polluted and it energized her. They reached the top and she could see rivers and make out some village settlements. There was no sign of tar roads. Shout Vijay's name, Lingaraj suggested. Vijay! Shouted Seema. There was a prompt echo that repeated twice. There's this command in Linux. The echo command, said Lingaraj, opening his laptop. Wow! I can get Vijay to shout my name and the echoes will keep repeating. It just repeats what you say. Try it out. Say something original, Lingaraj suggested. Seema typed into the laptop. Echo, I'm there for you, Vijay. There was the following output. As original as an echo, Lingaraj commented. Lingaraj was silent for a while. Do you want to use a pipe? Asked Lingaraj. What's in it? Some herbs? No, it connects one command's output to another's input, said Lingaraj, pointing at his laptop. He typed and showed Seema the pipe key on the keyboard just above the enter key. Let's go back, said Lingaraj. As they approached the camp, they could see some people already at work. A few of them were making jute bags. Lingaraj said, just like we use jute bags to hold things, there are directories that hold files. There are many directories. Here is a list of them. This is the source directory. Do you have any idea? The waste directory, some kind of a trash bin? It contains all binaries of programs. There is this book about directories in my room. Read that. Meanwhile, I'll get some fresh juice for you. Seema proceeded to Lingaraj's room and found the book. As she was searching, she saw books on various topics like filmmaking, writing poetry, and others. Then she met Lingaraj outside after she read the first few pages. Lingaraj gave her watermelon juice. Lingaraj continued. Your thoughts on it? Pictures of all kinds of boots that you can wear? When a computer boots up, the necessary files are stored here, replied Seema. Device files, devices, programs, databases, etc., etc. All the host-specific system configuration files, all your personal stuff, and all those 43 letters. 44 now, said Lingaraj with sadness in his tone. Essential shared libraries and kernel modules? What's a shared library? Asked Seema. Many programs that are written can use already existing programs which are written for such a benefit. Like if you order noodles with sweet chutney, the noodles already made can be bought. So, if I write a program that involves adding two numbers, I can call a program from a library that already has the addition program written. And kernel modules? Programs loaded at runtime like a device driver. A device driver is a program that talks to the device like a printer or a scanner or an external hard drive. Lingaraj looked into the distance. Something bothering you? Asked Seema. I fell in love with a librarian once when I was reading Linux programming in the library. I went and told her, ever since I saw you, my circulation has stopped. I have booked 2 tickets to the movie. Return them, she said. Seema did not know what to do. Over time, she would get used to Lingaraj's anecdotes. Anyway, let me just mention them. The file system created on the go. A control and information center for the kernel. Lingaraj pointed to some people who were sitting and gossiping. Let me tell you a story now. There are a lot of old ladies and gentlemen who sit outside and they know practically everything about our community. In fact, when someone wants to make a marriage alliance, they ask this group about the man's character. This was a long time ago, before we had heard of mobile phones. There is another community in an island. There, they are not in touch with the world and don't know of any technological advancements. They are ruled by a king. I thought since I possessed a hair dryer, I thought I would take it to him and impress him. I had heard he had a daughter. So I took this perilous journey that took 4 weeks and went to the island. I was roaming around in modern clothes and soon I was captured. This was part of my plan and I was taken to the king. The king asked, "Are you an alien?" I said, "I come from afar and now I will stun you." I asked for a bucket of water which they provided. I then threw it at the king and he was drenched. He was very angry. "I know you are angry, but I will dry you in an instant. If you don't do that, I will drench you in your blood." This magical device here that I invented, I took out the hair dryer. "Where's the PowerPoint for this?" "What bloody PowerPoint?" "Oh, I see." The king took out his sword. I closed my eyes. Those people didn't have electricity. Then as the king approached near and was about to use his sword, these people came. They had brought solar-powered batteries. I took the batteries in a hurry and used the hair dryer to dry him. He was mollified. He asked me to stay back and I told him I would bring more such amazing things. "What an adventure! Is this really true?" asked Seema. Lingaraj continued, ignoring the question. "Well, these people tell every alliance that comes to me this story and they laugh at me." "Is the king still around?" "No. He died in his bathtub from electrocution while using a hair dryer." Anyway, these people, they are like these control rooms. They know everything. The super user's home directory. Essential system binaries for whom super user credentials are required. Temporary files. Temporary files? Not important, I think, said Seema. Look at our world. The whole world is stored in a temporary directory. Very important. The base directory for shareable and read-only data. Header files for compiling C programs. Libraries for most binary programs. Non-vital system binaries. Architecture independent data. The source code. The X window system. Variable data like email, printer logs, etc. etc. Is there a heart directory? I just want to look into that in Vijay's system and see if any traces of me are there. Seema said sadly. A rhetorical question, I assume. If I put you in a maze, how would you get out? I would begin by knowing where I am. In a Linux system, how would you do that? I don't know. Ask the system where I am. What's the pwd command? It shows the personal working directory. In this case, your love letter directories. I saw it, said Seema. No, it's print working directory. The directory that you are now in. So, if you are stuck in a maze of directories, somewhere you don't know where you are, and then you type pwd. And if you want to go back home, it's simple. Type. And if you want to go to some other directory, takes you one level up in the directory structure. I will now list some commands and explain them. Says what kind of a file it is. The cat command displays the contents of a file. Again, Lingaraj was disturbed. Seema by now had learned he would have a story to say. And she would bet her last rupee it was going to be a sad story. There was this girl, Billy, in the city. One day, as her cat was trying to cross the road, a guy on a bike, desperate to cross the road before the cat, crossed the path, sped, and almost killed the cat. I took the cat to a vet and I saved the cat's life. I felt heroic and special. Billy and I became friends. One day I went and told her, "Let's concatenate our lives." Billy said, "You are in a queue because there are 8 other people who have saved the cat's life, because a cat has 9 lives. Why do you bring up these stories of love disappointment?" "You have to delete them and move on," said Seema. Which brings us to the next set of commands. rm removes a file and mv moves the file to another location. Okay, rm Billy, my /home /Lingaraj love files to /new prospect. Seema said enthusiastically. There is no /new prospect directory. So let's create it. What's the command to make a new directory? mkdir. Seema then typed. I am assuming rmdir removes the directory? Yes, replied Lingaraj. Let's find all your failure files. Is there a command for that? Seema asked. They opened Lingaraj's personal directory on the system. Now, if we use grep and a pattern, in this case failure, it will list all the files among the 44 which have failure in them, said Lingaraj. He typed, as luck would have it, all the names of the 44 files were displayed. Even the law of averages fail here, said Seema. Type more. You want to see more of this? Okay. Type less. To see the contents of a file in a comfortable way, more or less work the same way, more or less. Seema saw the contents of a file and was reading it with some interest when Lingaraj interrupted. I don't want to see it. Let's clear the screen. Type clear. Seema typed. The screen was immediately cleared. This clears the screen. Not my fortune, though. Prints the file or program output to a printer. Lists all the processes. Shows who is logged in and what they're doing. So if you want to see if anybody else is trying to get to Vijay and alter him or command him, you can find out. You're making me panic. If it helps, there's a kill process as well where you can kill the process. Only the process, mind you. This reveals the information about the CPU. And this displays the CPU processes. Displays what's in the memory. A good place to see if you're still there in Vijay's mind. There are other commands like locate and find which do what they say. I have a question. Once you get access to Vijay, what are you going to do? I have done some research online. There's this command called switch user, and I'll become his super user. Tomorrow, we will get into shell scripting. Super user.